Hello, my beautiful friends. You may sense that today I'm in a bit of a different mood, and you may have sensed that if you watched my last video too. When I rewatched that last video, I was like, maybe I shouldn't post this because I seem like I have the worst energy I've had in a really, really long time. And that is because I am going through a breakup. I am not going to cry through this whole video. I will cut it out. But every once in a while I might have a little, because it's sad. But I wanted to make this video for myself to look back on and for you because I have been endlessly watching YouTube videos, watching people experience their breakups, and it helps so much to feel less alone in your breakup, to know that other people are going through the same thing, to know that other people went through the same thing and came out on the other side a better person or came out on the other side with something good from it. I am not even 1 week post breakup from somebody who I was with for a year and a half. I'm really gonna try not to cry too much, I swear. We lived together for maybe 7 months, 8 months. We just moved into a new home together. I was getting really close with his daughter. I have nothing bad to say about him whatsoever. I think he's an amazing person. I think he is very, very sweet. I love his daughter. I loved everything we had. Nothing happened, but there are just some things that we both need to work on. And I'm not going to talk too much about it because that is my personal business and I'm not trying to air all of that out for myself or for him. But I wanted to give you a little bit of a backstory. He was the one who initiated it. I was a little bit shocked. I was very shocked, actually. There's nothing concrete that happened, which I think makes the situation a little bit harder to kind of like wrap my head around. But that's kind of the backstory. I loved this person very much. I still love this person very much. It's been 6 days since it actually happened. It has been 2 days since I saw him last. We were able to have a very mature conversation on Saturday. It's Monday now, and I was lucky enough to get a little bit of clarity and a little bit of closure. As much as I begged to get the relationship back, I'm really, really happy that we had that conversation. I know that that's not the case for everybody. And I'm not trying to talk about the situation through this whole video, but I just wanted to let you know that that's kind of the lowdown. That's kind of the situation. I guess I just kind of want to talk about what I've been going through because I feel like a lot of the breakup videos that I've been watching, it has been people who are already kind of through it. And I've seen a couple that are people that are in it, but I want to talk about it and show you what I'm doing, how I'm feeling while I'm like in it. And while I remember everything that I'm feeling, every single thing that I'm feeling. The first night was the worst pain I have ever felt. It happened on Tuesday night, and that night I didn't sleep at all. Thank God my friend answered her phone at 1:30 in the morning because I was shaking and crying and panicking and confused. And we lived together, so I was in the same house. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep at all. I felt like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. This video is going to be so vulnerable, but I'm going to be so happy that I made it, and I hope that it's going to help some of you. I think I was just in shock for a while. I was in shock for like that night. I was in shock the next morning. I didn't believe that it was going to happen because we had kind of had conversations like this before, and I was always able to talk to him. We were always able to have a talk about it, and we realized that like, okay, this is what we need to do about this. This is how it's going to change. This is how we're going to fix it. Like, this is how we're going to work through our relationship and make it better. And I think I just thought that like that was the case here too. So as much as I was like crying and feeling terrible and felt like my heart was being broken, I also kind of like held on to a lot of hope that he was going to change his mind, that the next day or that night, I know I'm going to be so grateful I made this, that he was like going to come to his senses, that he was going to get out of this reactive state that he was in, this frustrated state that he was in. He was going to come to his senses and he was going to be like, I'm really sorry, I messed up, I didn't mean anything I said, blah, blah, blah. That's what I thought. And I think that that's what a lot of people think. I think a lot of people who go through breakups think, oh, this can't be real. There's no way that this is real. And that's why we hold on to so much of that hope. We can't believe that our partner, this person that we spent all this time with, that we gave all this love to, is just gonna be gone. So I think that like those first few days, I was just delusional. I was just thinking that it was all gonna get better. I remember Wednesday night, I went there to go pack a bag, an overnight bag, and my brain was playing like crazy tricks on me, and I walked in. Well, before I walked in, I was like, there's gonna be flowers. There's gonna be flowers and a card, and it's gonna be like, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean anything I said. I was just like in a bad headspace, whatever. Obviously, that was not the case. Our minds play so many tricks on us when we go through something like this because it's like we're literally breaking a bond, and it feels terrible. And sometimes it's a coping mechanism. Sometimes it hurts so much that you almost have to hold on to a little bit of hope. You almost have to think, maybe everything's gonna get better. Maybe everything can be fixed and changed. I want to tell you that it's so normal. It's so normal to feel like this isn't real. This is not happening. This is not reality. If I go to sleep and I wake up the next morning, it was just a terrible nightmare. This is not actually happening. You are in such denial, and it's normal to be in denial. It is normal. Let it happen, but try your best. And I know that it's so hard because I'm still kind of in it. Try your best to not hold on to that hope for too long, to realize, okay, as much as it hurts, as much as it hurts to look at the reality, to look at what's actually happening, to think about what they actually said, to think about the gravity of the situation. That denial is such a protection mechanism because there is so much hurt that's happening all at one time. There's so many thoughts, so many feelings, so many emotions happening all at one time that you almost need that denial to be okay. You almost need to have that denial in order to carry you through, in order to get to the next day. So if you need to hold on to some of that denial, if you need to hold on to some of that hope in order to protect yourself, in order to make sure that you are okay, then hold on to some of that. But try your best not to hold on to it for too long. Try your best as soon as you feel comfortable enough to slowly start letting go of that denial, to slowly start realizing, okay, I think that this might be really happening, and be so gentle with yourself. Be so gentle with yourself. There is no reason for you to rush into all of those feelings, into all of that pain. Be so gentle and so kind and give yourself so much love in this time. God, I look so ugly when I cry. The first few days obviously were the hardest, and I felt so much denial, and I felt like I needed to say so many things to him. But in those first few days, the chances are you're not thinking clearly, they're not thinking clearly, you're hurt, maybe they're hurt, and if you have a conversation, it's just going to be it's too passionate. It's almost too heated, too passionate, too close to when it happened. So we waited like 4 days, maybe 3 days. I asked him to have a conversation. At 3 days, I said, please, I have been spinning all week. So many thoughts. I've never had so many thoughts in my life thinking about what can I say to him? How can I fix it? How can I make it better? What do I need to say? Is there anything I need to apologize for? Just taking inventory of every single thing that I've ever said, that he's ever said, and then spiraling and thinking, oh my God, well, he said this 3 weeks ago. So what if he knew then? What if I could have known then? What if I could have done something there is no could haves. And as hard as that is, there's nothing you could have done differently. There's nothing that you should have done. If you loved that person unconditionally, if you were loyal, if you were honest, if you loved as hard as you possibly could, if you were kind, and if you showed up authentically as yourself, there is nothing else you could have done. And it is so hard to realize that. It is so hard to realize that their decision is fully out of your control. If you were the best partner you could have possibly been, if you were loyal and trustworthy and kind, there is nothing that you can do about their decision, and it's the hardest thing to accept. And I'm so grateful that we sat down and we had a conversation, because it helped me so much to move just a tiny bit further along, to get all of those thoughts, everything that I felt like I needed to say. I can't imagine having a relationship where you can't say what you need to say, where immediately it's no contact, immediately you're blocked. You have all of these things you want to say to them. I was so lucky and grateful to be given that. We shared this mutual kindness and respect throughout our whole relationship, so I'm so happy that we had that. For the people that don't have that, I'm so sorry, and I empathize with you so much. I know how many thoughts go through your head. I know how many things you want to just rapid fire text them, how badly you want to call them, how badly you want to fix everything. I know, and it's so hard. And if you don't have any access to them, if you cannot talk to them whatsoever, I know it's hard and I know it's cliche, but when you can, when you're ready, write them a letter. Write them a letter, or put something on your notes app. Just get it out of your head, because it will drive you insane. If you are spiraling, if you are spinning, and everything is in your head, you are so caught up on, I should have said this, I could have said this. Just write it down. Write it down, get it out of your head, or say it to a friend. Call a friend, say it to a friend, text a friend, something. Get it out of your head. It's also really hard transitioning from being able to talk to somebody all day, every day, and looking forward to talking to somebody all day, every day, looking forward to sleeping next to them, looking forward to kissing them when they get home from work, to just go cold turkey and not see them, not talk to them at all. And I empathize with that heavily, and you need to give yourself grace for feeling that too, because this person was your person. This person was your person for however long you were with them, and you have a bond, and you love them, and you told them everything, even if it was stupid shit that they actually did not give one fuck about. You told them every single little thing, and they were almost obliged to be like, wow, you know? That's a really hard thing to just stop. So make sure you have a really good support network. And if you ever need anything, you can always reach out to me. Please reach out to me, because I cannot imagine going through this alone. I can't imagine going through this with no support network. My support has been so strong through this whole thing, and it's helped me so much to talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it, even if it's just to yourself. Just talk about it. Talk yourself through the situation. It's almost a form of self-soothing when you talk yourself through something. I think it also helps to realize that if you can talk yourself through something, you don't necessarily need a partner. You are going to be okay without them, even if you don't feel that way right now. If you can sit and talk yourself through something and have a conversation with yourself and kind of soothe yourself just a little bit, you're going to be okay, I promise. I know it doesn't feel like it. It feels like I'm not going to be okay either, but I know that I will be, and as much as I am still holding on to hope for some reason, I know that I'm going to be okay. I know that I'm strong. I know I'm smart. I know I'm beautiful. I know I'm worthy. I know I'm going to be okay. And keep telling yourself that. Keep giving yourself these affirmations of love, especially if you're in a relationship where you didn't feel loved, you didn't feel valued, you kind of felt belittled, and you kind of fell into the other person. Maybe you're in a codependent relationship. Make sure through this time you give yourself that love. You give yourself everything that you needed. You talk to yourself the way that you needed to be spoken to, so that when you are ready, and I know that that's so hard to hear right now, because people have been saying it to me, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I still want him. But when you are ready and you go back out there and you risk your heart again, you risk being broken again, you can say, you know what? I gave myself so much love, and I was able to do so much for myself that now I know what my value is. I know how much I'm worth. I know what I deserve. I know how I want to feel, because I did it for myself. And if I can do it for myself and my partner can't do it, then why do I even want my partner in my life? They should be making me feel incredible all the time. If I can make myself feel incredible and I can communicate what I need to my partner, because it's not just going to happen immediately, you have to communicate what you need to your partner, then they should also be making me feel incredible. And I know that that's a lot to hear, and I know that right now all you want to do is curl up in a ball in the bed that you and your partner used to sleep in and just go back to those comfy old ways. I know, I'm literally there. But try your best to show yourself some love, to do a little bit of self-care every single day. Even if that's just drinking enough water, even if that's just opening a window, going outside for a second, do something every single day that makes you feel just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. And I understand you're going to feel guilt. You're going to feel guilty. If you smile, you're going to be like, I shouldn't be smiling. I shouldn't be smiling right now. I should be really, really sad. I get it. I really do. I really do. But don't let yourself go just because somebody else let you go. And I'm going to say that again. Don't let yourself go just because somebody else let you go. I get that after a breakup, you feel like you are not valued, you are not loved, you are not cared about, but I promise you, you are so loved. There are so many people that care about you. You are so special. You are so beautiful. And I understand not feeling that way. And I'm not forcing anything on you. Nothing should be forced externally or internally while you're going through this process. You are going to go as slowly as you need to. You are going to take it 1 hour, 1 minute at a time, because it's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be a wild journey. You are going to go through so many ups and downs. 1 second, you're going to feel really, really great. 1 second, you're going to feel really, really guilty. 1 second, you're going to think, oh, I'll just go home. Or I'll just talk to him later. I'll text him later. I'll call him later. 1 second, you're going to feel really sad. You're going to feel like you want to die. I felt like I wanted to die right after. I felt like there's no reason for me to be living anymore, which is so dark, but I thought that I love this person so deeply. I loved them so deeply. I was so vulnerable with this person. This was the first relationship where I was really, really vulnerable, and I really cared, and I was so passionate, and there was so much love. And I thought I could never get through this. And I still moderately feel like it's going to be a really, really hard journey, and you're going to feel like that for as long as you feel like that. And it sucks. It sucks so bad. It is so hard. It sucks that there's no time frame. Everyone's time frame is so different, and no matter how many posts I read on Reddit about breakups. I have been loving the breakup subreddit. No matter how many posts I read, no matter how many people I talk to who have gone through breakups, no matter how many YouTube videos I've watched about breakups, there is no formula for how people go through this, and that makes it even harder because it's unpredictable and you're stepping into this unknown territory where it's like, am I gonna be good? I'm feeling a lot of things, and I really don't want to feel all of these things because it's really, really hard. And it sucks, but you just have to feel them. You have to feel the denial, the anger, the sadness, the guilt. You have to feel all of it. And every single day, I've been having that full spectrum of emotions, and it is so hard. And I totally understand where you're at. And it's like, is it even worth it to love someone so hard? To risk feeling all of this pain? You couldn't have loved that hard without feeling some pain. The more pain, the more growth, the more struggle, the more challenges that you go through, that you make it out the other end of, the more you can love, the deeper you can love, the more you can give but still honor yourself. Because our first love, we can love deeply, but we don't honor ourselves. As we grow and as we learn and as we evolve and as we change, we learn to love deeper, but to still honor ourselves, to still have that sense of self-identity, to still have those values, to still check in with ourselves and make sure that we're okay. I promise you, everything you're feeling right now is so normal. And I know that that gives you no sense of comfort and no help whatsoever. But every single day, you're going to feel a tiny bit better. And I know that if you're in the thick of it right now, that is so hard to hear because all you want to do is wallow in your emotions. All you want to do is be in this space of self-pity, and I get it. I really do. And you can be in that for a few days. Try not to stay in that for too long. I'm not forcing you to do anything, but being in that state of self-pity is going to prolong the process so much. Try to go outside. I've been outside every single day. I've been at the beach for sunrise and sunset since like 2 days after it happened, maybe 3 days after it happened, and it has been the biggest healer. I think that nature helps not only because there's fresh air and there's birds and there's things to look at, but also because it's beautiful. And when we're in this point, when we're feeling the feels, we're feeling it really hard, it's really hard to see any kind of beauty in life. It's really hard to have an outlook on life that's not desolate and sad and all the things that you're feeling. And they're totally valid. They are totally valid, and feel them. But try to go out in nature. Try to look at a flower. Try to see if you can see a little bit of vibrance. Maybe you notice some plant that you've never noticed before. Maybe the ocean looks extra beautiful. Maybe the sunset is extra beautiful. Maybe the air feels really, really nice on your skin and you haven't noticed that in a while. See if you can find something that is just beautiful. It is going to help you so much in realizing that there is so much beauty in life, and there's so much beauty in being with yourself. There's so much beauty in learning about yourself and growing and becoming this amazing, amazing version of yourself, because you are going to become an amazing version of yourself. You are going to heal. You are going to get better. I know that. I know that. And I think that deep down you know that too. And I get being in that state where you're like, I don't want to think that. I don't want to think that I'm going to get better. I want to think that we're just going to get back together. I get that. And maybe you will get back together. Who knows? But I will say that no matter what happens, you are going to be okay. The first maybe 4 days, I didn't go on social media once. Not because I was scared that I was going to see him post something, but because I didn't want to not feel the feelings. And that sounds kind of crazy and kind of overwhelming, but I wanted to feel everything that I needed to feel. And I think that if you go immediately on social media, if you are like, I don't want to feel these feelings, I want to drink, I want to take a pill, I want to go on social media, I want to just suppress as much as I can. When you do that, you prolong the process because you're not allowing yourself to feel, and as painful as it is to feel, you need to feel them. Try your best to allow those feelings to come up, to allow them to move through you, because once you allow those emotions to move through you, they're going to get a little bit more subtle, a little bit more subtle, a little bit less painful. I have probably been on the phone 6 hours out of every single day the past week, and I don't know how I would have gotten through this without my support network. It's so important to have a support network. Try your best to call a couple people every single day, and when you call them, obviously in the beginning you're going to be like, oh my god, this is happening, oh my god, this is happening. As you get a little bit better and a little bit better, call them and ask them how they're doing first. Maybe you're not ready for that yet, and that's okay. But once you're ready for it, Ask them how they are doing. Not only are they going to feel more appreciated and less used, but when you're in this state, when you're feeling like all consumed with yourself, it's really good to be able to hear that other people have good things going on, maybe bad things going on, but other people have other things happening. There are other things happening because right now, to you, to me, it just feels like the only thing that's happening is this breakup and I can't handle it. So when you're ready to ask them how they are also doing, because the first few days you're just going to dump on them and that's just what's going to happen. It's okay. Express some gratitude for them. Maybe when you're ending the phone call, say thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you being here for me. But when you're ready, ask them how they're doing as well. Try your best to breathe. Try your best to breathe. I know it feels like you can't breathe. You can't breathe if you're not by their side. Try your best. When you have a moment between the crying and the shaking, try to take a deep breath, a nice big inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. See if there's anything that you can relax. See if you can relax your shoulders a little bit. See if you can relax your jaw a little bit. See if you can unfurl your eyebrows a little bit. Try your best to breathe if you can. Try your best to move your body if you can. Try to go to the gym. Maybe go for a walk. Go for a run. Do something. I will say that I have been going for runs, and because I'm going through a heartbreak and because that is so painful, the run feels like a piece of cake. So maybe this is when you get into running, when it starts to feel like a piece of cake because your heart is so hurt that no other pain feels anything like that. Journal and write things down, get things in your notes app, get things out of your head, maybe write them a letter. Maybe you're not ready to write them a letter. I wrote him a letter last night, but I think that I wasn't really ready. I kind of forced it a little bit and I felt really sad writing it. So take your time if you want to write them a letter. Take your time because if you're too close to when it actually happened, you may write the letter and you may think, I really want to send this to them. I really want to show them. Be a little bit more detached from it. If you need to write a letter, write a letter. Write a letter, but try not to connect too much to it. If this resonates with you, find a connection to something greater, something bigger. Yesterday was Sunday, for some reason, I felt a very, very overwhelming need to connect with God. And I've never been like a God person. I've always been a universe person. I wasn't raised very religious. I've been very spiritual the past few years, and that's not going to go anywhere. However, I think that a connection with God is something that I'm feeling called towards. So I'm going to honor that and I'm going to pour everything into this connection with God. I'm going to pray and I'm going to realize that the universe, God, whatever, has my back, knows how amazing of a person I am, and never, never, never will let anything pass me by that wasn't meant for me, and will always put things in my path that I could handle. I know that I am strong. As much as I don't want to be one of God's strongest soldiers, I really would like to stop that role. I know that I'm strong and I know that I can handle these things, and I know that nothing would be put in my path that I can't handle. And it really, really helps. I would say that that helps almost the most, to know that everything happens for you and you've made it through all of your toughest days. Right now it feels like the end of the world, and it's going to feel like the end of the world for a little while, but you are going to make it through this. These are no different than those days that you've already made it through. So those are some of the things that I've done throughout this breakup that have made it just a little bit easier. Yesterday I was feeling just a little bit more confidence, a little bit more empowered. Today I'm not feeling so great. And it goes in waves, it ebbs and flows, and you have to feel it all, and it sucks. And it sucks that people keep giving me that advice. You have to feel it. You have to go through it. I'm like, shut up. I don't want to. I want to just be back in my home with him. But you have to feel it all, and you are going to come out so much stronger and so much happier, and you're going to know so much about yourself, and you're going to grow so much. If you take this opportunity, it can be the biggest growth phase in your life. I'm not going to say the biggest blessing, because I know that that's hard to hear, because it's hard for me to hear right now. When somebody says, oh, this is going to be the biggest blessing, it's hard for me to hear that, because I really don't see it as that. However, I think that it's easier to hear that this is going to be the point where you either fail, which you're not going to do that because you're watching this. I know that you're not going to do that. Or you grow and you blossom and you bloom into this better version of yourself. You're getting closer and closer to the most incredible version of yourself that you can be. And that's so beautiful. And personal development and growth is so special and so beautiful. And if you're on a path where you are creating that in your life, you are going to be fine. You are actually going to be more than fine. You're going to be amazing. And I can't wait to see who you are when you come out of this. So those are some of the things that have helped me through not going on social media. Although last night I did scroll on TikTok a little bit and it was a really nice little break. Finding a connection with some kind of higher power. It does not have to be God. It can be the universe. It can be whatever you feel called to. I'm not forcing you into anything, but find a connection with something bigger than yourself, with something that you can almost give the power to, with something that you know has your back, that you know sees you for who you are, that you know is just giving this to all of you in order to make you better. Reach out to your friends, reach out to a support network, reach out to your family, reach out to people. Talk about things. If you can, don't let yourself go through this alone. And find some gratitude also in the fact that those friends answer your calls. Those friends are willing to talk to you for hours on end. I was on the phone with my friend the other day when I was packing some of my things at the house for like 2.5 hours. She was just there and it was so helpful. Practice some kind of self-care, some kind of self-love. Either tell yourself affirmations in the mirror, do your skincare routine, have some water, go outside, go on a walk, go do yoga, go do something that you love to do that's going to make you feel good. Don't go and have a drink. It's not going to make you feel good as much as it's like easy and it seems like it would make you feel a little bit better. Alcohol, at the end of the day, is a depressant. So it's actually going to make you feel a lot worse. Maybe you feel good when you're buzzed, but it's very temporary. Don't do things, try your best to not do things that are just temporary pleasures because it's not going to feel good. It is not going to feel good. Take this time to focus on you. Don't try to shut out any of the feelings. Don't try to cover them up with alcohol or sex or a little like conversation on Instagram. Try your best to not go to any of those temporary pleasures because they are not going to serve you. They're not going to serve you, and you are probably going to end up regretting it and feeling even worse afterwards. And move your body. I know that the first few days it's really hard. It's hard to do anything for yourself. It's hard to even get out of bed for a lot of people. But in order to let these emotions move through you, you have to obviously express them, but you also have to move your body. You have to get your body moving because your body holds on to all of these emotions too. Breathe. Try to breathe. I know it feels like you're suffocating. You cannot breathe. You don't have the space to breathe. I get it. But if you can, if you have 1 second, if you have one deep breath in you, just maybe on the exhale, you tell yourself, I'm going to be okay. I am worthy. I'm beautiful. I'm strong. I'm capable. I'm deserving. Breathe and let some of that tension go. Allow your body to relax for just a moment. Breathe where you can. Breathe where you can. Journal. If you're angry, let your anger out. Go to one of those, what are they called? The smash it rooms. What are they called? Rage rooms. Smash it rooms. Should be called smash it rooms. Go to one of the rage rooms if you're angry. Go to a boxing class if you're angry. Don't let that anger fester. None of these feelings that you're having, you shouldn't let any of them fester. If you're sad, let it out. Cry. And I get that it's really hard for some people, but you need to let it out because if you don't let it out now, it's just going to come out some other time. So as much as it hurts, let it out now. Let the sadness out now. Let the anger out now. Go do something that will release all of those emotions. I think that that's everything that I listed that I did. If I forgot something, I'll write it on the screen. My bad. I'm a little bit foggy because I still have not slept, and I'm thinking that tonight I'm going to take a little bit of either ZzzQuil or NyQuil, whichever one knocks you out, because last night I took Benadryl PM or just Benadryl, and it didn't do a thing. I slept for maybe 3 hours, and then I woke up and it felt terrible. I know it feels like it is the end of the world right now. I know it feels like your situation is the worst thing ever. It's It is terrible, but realize that you're not alone, that you have support. Even if you don't have support around you, you have me, you have people on the internet who are going through the same thing. Reach out to people. People normally are pretty nice. I know that there's a lot of mean people on the internet, but I really don't think you would really have to take a terrible type of human being to respond to a comment on a Reddit thread and be like, "You suck. You deserve this." I don't think that that's going to happen. So, if you don't have support in person, try your best to find support wherever you can. Maybe it's on a YouTube video. Maybe it's in a podcast. It's somewhere. Just find some kind of support. Give yourself grace and space and time, and it sucks, but it's going to take as long as it's going to take. Try as best as you can to not feel guilty if you feel like you're smiling, or you feel a little bit happy, or you feel a little bit confident, or you see some beauty in the world again. Don't feel guilty for that. You shouldn't be feeling sad just because you feel like you should be feeling sad, if that makes sense. You deserve to be happy, whether it's 2 days after a breakup, a month after a breakup. You deserve to feel happiness in your life. So let's just get rid of that guilt entirely, because I also felt that guilt. I feel that guilt. I don't want it. I want to be happy. I don't want to wallow. I don't want to make myself suffer, because we cause ourselves suffering. We feel this pain, but we cause our suffering. Pain is normal. Pain happens. We feel pain and we need to feel pain. But suffering is different. Suffering is when we prolong the pain, when we keep talking about the same situation 3 weeks after it happened and we feel that pain still. Why are we still talking about it? Why are we still suffering? Suffering is self-imposed, and your life is too short to self-impose suffering. So try as best as you can to let those things go. Those do not serve you. You can feel the pain, but the guilt and the suffering, they do not serve you. You are going to make it through this. I know it feels like you're not, but you are going to make it through this. You would not be given this battle, this challenge, this hardship if you couldn't make it through this. I know it's hard to see it right now, but there is so much good that is going to come from this, and you are going to be a million times better. With pain comes so much growth. You're not even going to recognize this person that you are right now, the person that you were in that relationship. You're not even going to recognize them. You are going to grow so much from this. I know it. You are beautiful. You are strong. You are capable. You deserve the world. You are valued. You are valuable. You deserve to be valued. You deserve to feel appreciated. You deserve to be loved in every single way that you want to be loved. You deserve to be respected. You deserve to be treated like a queen or a king. No feeling is final, and you are going to make it out of this. You are going to be okay. I love you so much. If you are going through something like this, you can leave a comment. Maybe we can start a little thread of people who are going through similar things so that we feel less alone. And if you feel like life is ending, know that A, it's normal, and B, you can always reach out to people. You can always reach out to me, honestly. I have so much sympathy for people going through this. I have so much empathy and love for people generally, but people that are going through a similar experience that you're going through, I think that you have a lot of extra love and sympathy for them. You are going to be okay no matter what. And I love you so much, and you deserve the world. I will talk to you soon.